cats who was working with kids, as you still know, you know what I'm saying. But you was that vet. Obviously, I looked up to you, but we had veterans in the locker room. You know what I'm saying, like Earl. You know what I'm saying, who has to be a vet that's a leader. Cause you get some vets that's not like that. You got some
Right.
vets that's straight off the chain. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So you gotta pick your poison, you know what I'm saying, on who you hang with. I chose to follow leaders. You know what I'm saying? Like you.
But you were a leader. But you were a leader too.
Yeah, but leaders hang around leaders. You know that. To be
Leaders
successful, you
attract.
gotta hang
You
around
normally
successful.
attract what you are.
Truly, true stuff. True stuff. So, you know, with Earl's situation, they gotta have a lot going on there, big bro.
What happened? Quick. What happened, dog?
I think some stuff kind of rolled over from last year, and in the off season with having off the field troubles with Earl. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you gotta handle your business. You gotta know you got the eye on you at all times.
Yeah.
And then you have some altercations in the locker room with your teammates, man. It's not gonna go over good for you. You know
I
what I'm
could
saying?
never imagine me knowing who you are and the way you went about your job. And see, Earl went about his job a lot similar.
Yeah.
You know, I can't ever imagine a youngster throwing a helmet at you, dog. Like,
No.
when somebody throw a helmet at you, they mean they tired of you, man.
Yeah, they don't like you.
They don't like you. They sick of you. They
Yeah.
want to dismiss you. They want to whoop you. Like, if you throw a helmet
Yeah.
at me,
I
we
wanna
gotta
fight.
fight.
Yeah, we want to fight.
We gotta fight.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it
We
got.
gotta fight. So
Yeah.
to get to a point where they did that to Earl, man, he had to go, like one way or another, because of disrespect for
Yeah.
one of your leaders. And then you on the break of, like, if the Ravens don't win the Super Bowl, it's a bust season. Like, you on the break of the Super Bowl and you let a starter go, that means it had some depth to it, like you say.
That's what I'm saying. They had to have something else in there.
It had to have some depth in it.
True.
Okay. That's the bottom line. That's the uncut raw, you know. Um, it had to have some depth to it. The brother was disrespected. One of the youngsters threw a helmet at him, so he had no choice. You know, you had to handle your business. As he said, that's maybe the reason why. Well, it was one thing that was said too: all veterans aren't leaders. So, because I'm going to leave that whole in-depth thing. Um, it is what it is. Who knows? I mean, because going to last season, we know what happened um, with the party and all of that stuff. So that may be something that had to do with it. Who knows? But that's just speculation, in my opinion. I'm not trying to stir no hornet's nest, you know, just to get some clicks on Facebook. I mean, on YouTube and stuff like that. Nah. But what I will go with is that all veterans aren't leaders. So you look at what has transpired in these last 2 days. You look at what has transpired these past 7 weeks. You look at what has transpired. What has transpired with uh, some of the free agents that we brought on board that would completely that would have shored up our defensive line, supposedly. That would have shored up our defensive line because, as Jerry Jones said, that was the plan, and he didn't think it would have went this way, but it did. That when he brought these free agents in, that that they were veteran guys that knew their craft, knew how to do their job, and will come help plug up this hole in the middle. And the best player on that line, talking about in the interior, was Tristan Hill, and he's not here. He's out for the season. Second-year player. was outplaying some experienced, seasoned veterans that played like they didn't want to be here. They were just here to get a check for the season, to my knowledge, and potentially, in my mind, that uh, they might have been the ones leaking that information. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I've been trying to do this video for the last 2 days, and I was like 20, almost like 15 minutes in my first attempt, and of course it got interrupted. Then I tried again today, and it got interrupted. I tried again a second time, and it got no. I tried last night, and it got interrupted, and tried today, and it got interrupted again. So so hopefully I have no interruptions uh, while I do this live feed. So, like I was saying, my hunch is that they might have done some investigating since the two anonymous players uh, made those comments about the coaches and stuff like that, and and finally someone figured it out who actually made those comments. Maybe they went straight to Jane Slater. You know what I'm saying? They like, look, we don't want to put it out publicly, but I do want to know who made those comments if you didn't fabricate those comments. If two of our players actually told you that, we need to know who they are. I deserve to know because we're going to get rid of them, and you cannot let that out of the bag either. If you want to continue to be part of our press member, I don't know what they call it. If you want to be a member of the press with the Cowboys, so a press insider, you know. So somebody had to had to spill the beans on who actually said it, and if it wasn't them, then those players are still on the team, and this is just the beginning, and maybe it is to set an example, but to also clear some cap, to also see what our young guys, some of our other young guys can do out on the field, because they'll be more eager to get out on the field and see if they're going to play harder. But you can also build those guys up. You know what I'm saying? You can coach them up well, because they're more willing to listen, because they don't know what it's like to be a professional. So now this is the part of the coaches to develop players, and that's something we have not seen in 10 years. In 10 years, we have not seen uh, our players being developed, and particularly on the defensive side, offensive too. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for striking gold with the offensive line, and Frederick and Martin and Smith, and uh, at that time we had Doug Free and Chaz Green was a starter. He made the Pro Bowl 1 year, and then we end up getting these guys that we have now, a couple years later and stuff like that. Um, with some of our old guys, but now we don't have Frederick, Lyle Collins, and that came on 3 years ago, and 3 or 4 years ago now, and with Doug, with Martin, but all these guys are injured. They're coming back. Martin might come back. That's good, or whatnot. But we still got some guys that could be traded. I mean, trade deadline is not over with yet. We still got a few more days. We got a few more days to get some trades done, to get some deals done. You know what I'm saying? Some trade deals. I mean, because when you think about it, you think about guys who has a 4 year option. You think about guys who are in their fourth year, and if they're tradable, whether it's for none of them are going to be high trade picks. We're not going to get no first or second round pick. You know what I'm saying? We could get a third to fourth for some of those DBs. You know, we could get a third or fourth for a lineman. He's hurt right now, but he's due to return. You know, because what we have is what we have right now. That's on the field. That's our third stringers that is unproven, and these guys are all playing to stay into the NFL. I mean, because they was on the third string, and if they don't put out any good tape, if they don't put out any good tape, they can see themselves out the league. But if they look halfway decent and showing pass protection, which is a very very huge deal in this league, because we know that it's a passing league, but showing good cohesion and showing improvement on that line, those guys have that and show that they have something to play for. They have a reason to fight because they want to be here and they want to stay on the field. For one, another thing, because these guys could potentially that this could be it. I'm not saying that Collins won't come back, but what if Tyron Smith decides to retire? What if what if Zach Martin decides to retire? I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm just saying, or what if some of these guys suffer an injury next year, and now we're gonna have some seasoned young guys that played the year before, that had a significant amount of time the year before, and they won't be so green. You know what I'm saying? They will have a 4 year training camp, assumingly, because that's one thing that I do want to put out there as well, is that we don't know what it's going to be like next season. What if we still in this whole pandemic bubble thing? You know what I'm saying? And what would change about if this hasn't changed? Then what makes you think that we're going to have a full training camp, OTAs, preseason? Who's to say that? Who's to really say that we all assuming that this will all be over with, but we just don't know. Okay, so let's get that clear. Um, but yeah, but not just the offensive line. We're gonna see what these young guys on the defensive line is gonna look like with Randy Gregory, not the young guy, but he's in the final year of his contract too. Okay, but making that, let's say this was an example being made to let these guys know, if you don't want to be here, we will find the exit door for you. We will find a way, or we will just let you go, like they did Poe and Worley. Okay, we will find a way to let you go because we want some guys that's going to be eager to be out there on the field. No lackluster effort. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be competitive, even though we may never win another game, Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? We may never win another game, but we're competitive, and we're going to see who wants to be out there on the field. We see who wants to be coached up into a new scheme, in this new scheme. And if you ever watched Mike Nolan's interview, not the latest one with the Tabasco sauce, but leading up to the Washington game, uh, they have basically told you, we have made it as simple as possible. And you heard this, that they're running quarters, cover one, cover three, and it's simplified. And someone asked me this, and someone said maybe they don't know how to execute, you know, in the cover three. Didn't they run cover three last year? Didn't they run cover three last year with Coach Rashad? If that's the case, so they ran quarters from time to time. They did cover one from time to time. That's Chris Rashad thing. Cover one, cover three. That's his main thing. So we're not. I'm not trying. It is what it is. It can't get no simpler than that. You know what I'm saying? Even if um, this is ran in high school, those coverages, because I'm gonna make a comparison. Because if y'all watch the NBA, and the NBA bubble during this playoff run and all of that stuff, especially the early part of the bubble season for the NBA. Those guys those guys couldn't even play man to man. They didn't know how to help defense and all. They could barely run a zone right. Only a few teams knew how to actually run a zone, and that was Miami Heat. You know what I'm saying? Miami, um, Indiana was strong, but they got broken down. You know what I'm saying? They they couldn't even the Clippers with all of that star power couldn't even figure out a 1-5 scheme. That's from point guard to center, pick and roll. Then they ran like a 3-5 and a 2-5 pick and pop, and Denver was killing the Clippers all those games in a row. They could not figure that out. Could not figure it out. But anyway, sometimes it is you can't even execute it. And I don't and you know when you talk about the NBA, I don't even know why they couldn't figure that out. I was sitting there calling it on the screen like, oh my gosh, man. Don't you just to let the center once the center receives the ball in the middle of the paint, let him make his move first. Y'all don't react to the center because y'all know that the center can pass. Like just like a point guard. Let him shoot the shot. He either gonna make it or miss it. Let's see how many times he can make it. But then the 5 man has to step up, has to be ready for that. But anyway, so going back to our defense and running a simple scheme to where you can't even put in blitz packages, to where you can't the defensive line can't even run stunts and stuff like they doing they just doing the basic. This is what we in. See if you can beat us. Isn't that what Rod Melling? Isn't that what they was doing? They was not hiding what they was doing last year, the previous year before that. You know that we have always had the issue with defense for years now. That's what let Tony Romo down. Is that the defense wasn't up to par, and now you seeing the layers being pulled back now that we have suffered a multitude of injuries, and one of the key injuries is Dak Prescott and his intangibles, him being the glue to this whole team. And now you starting to see seeing these guys retreat, seeing these guys play like some fresh WAP. You know what I'm saying? Clear WAP, baby. That's what they was playing like. There's no other way to slice it. Yes. And that if I do not want to see what I saw at Washington. That's all I gotta say. I do not want to see that. That being displayed out on the field is some absolute hot garbage, man. And like nobody wanted to be there. And they came on the field looking defeated, looking defeated, and that is just unacceptable. Okay, so like I said, we're just reconstructing, as the title. We're not rebuilding. We got 9 games left. These guys everybody's on audition. Everybody's starters are re-auditioning if they want to be here or not, so we can weed these guys out. Who really wants to be out here playing? If you don't want to be here, you need to let us know right now so we can find a way to trade you before Tuesday. Because I want play. I don't care if they have. I don't care if they're rookies, but if they have enthusiasm and effort and a willingness to learn their craft and their profession, understanding their keys, their tasks and assignments, uh, and willing to put in the work to study, do some homework, film study on their own time. I put put them out on the field. I would do that. How about that? I'm listening. how I would rather do that. So we get to see Bradley and Nye, we get to see Gallimore. Um, who's the other guy? I forgot. Right, Randy Gregory comes back. Uh, we need to see some of these linebackers. We need to see a Francis Bernard. You know what I'm saying? I think he's practice squad, to be honest with you. But I don't. I think Luke Gifford was. I think he was hurt maybe. Um, but continue to see the progression of Wilson, Darren Wilson, um, because these guys are getting caught up in that bad energy that was on the team, man. So if that hopefully if hopefully that was the case, is that those veterans we brought in to be leaders, to lead these guys, to show them how to prepare and how to be professionals, they just weren't it. I hope that's the case. And if they're setting an example, then that's the case too. If they was just bad picks in free agent, because and all they wanted was a check, then that's just what it is. Um, got to get them out of here. They got to go. So looking forward, man, I'm really looking forward to seeing our new rookie QB seventh round pick, uh, Ben DiNucci. What is it? What is he out of JMU or William Mary? One of those. My home state, Virginia. You know what I'm saying? Um, I think it's William Mary. It's been some players coming out of William Mary. William Mary has been at the top of the Colonial Division for a while now. So um, they got some promise, some young talent that can be developed, and he has a good arm. He has mobility, and I just hope that this offensive line can show us something. I hope so. Uh, and that they have a nasty taste in their mouth as well. And you got to remember, some of these guys have never been on the field. Um, some of these guys have been sitting on the bench since last year or the year before, and that's what I'm talking about as far as in the last regime that we had. They had these guys that had high potential, but had them sitting on the bench. So you never know what we have. You see, um, what's the guy that got taken off and went to uh, the Indianapolis? Was it Rondell Carter? Yeah, I think it was Rondell Carter. Yeah, he got pushed back to the he went back to the practice squad, and Indianapolis picked him up, and he was like he's like on the roster for Indianapolis. We seen one too many guys uh, go into free agency and sign with another team and have some success. Okay, so we just have to wait and see. I am going to be watching the games because I want to evaluate the talent myself. With what's going to be displayed out there, I just want to see guys, playing with a lot of energy, uh, knowing their keys, making their stops when they need to. I'm not expecting I'm not having high expectations on winning, but I think we will win one or two more games. Possibly we pull one out the ass. Cowboys might be one of those underdog teams that just haphazardly just have a good game, um, have a good week, and it translates on the field. Um, but the effort is what's going to breed what is going to breed that winning tradition. You know what I'm saying? But playing smart as well. That's what we want. We want smart, intelligent players with high energy and effort on the field, and embrace the camaraderie. What the hell? Everybody's for themselves the last 7 weeks. We cannot put that out there on the field. And if we don't see that effort, even from our youngsters, even for some of those guys that came that was drafted by the last regime. It's down. That's going to be a rebuilding phase, for the most part. That will be rebuilding if we see some of our prominent starters are not returning or eventually getting cut or beat this trade dead or get traded before the deadline is up. Okay, so this is going to be the beauty of it. And when it comes to like just drafting, this is why I want Ben DiNucci to be successful. I like him. I would like for him to be successful in this next run because Andy Dalton ain't gonna want to come back no time soon. And Andy Dalton, we already know everything about Andy Dalton. Now, and I can say I was wrong. I say that he could thrive because he's with a better organization. You know what I'm saying? With the same with the same type of with the same type of say this dude made me lose my thought, man. Somebody always trying to sell you something. You know what I'm saying? I hope he. I don't know what it was, but anyway, I want to see him succeed, play well because Andy Dalton don't want to put no more. Yeah, he don't want to put that out on tape, man, because he's playing for a contract as well. You got to remember, I said that the last one, and even though I was wrong in saying he would thrive, but he was just trying to survive due to the poor play of our line. You know what I'm saying? As you would think that a veteran quarterback would have made some checks, make sure those guys got it, understood it. You know what I'm saying? And all of that. Understood, knowing exactly where the blitz was coming, even though they were just rushing their top four. You know what I'm saying? Just they were just rushing the front four. So yeah, we're in a world of mess as it looked, even for Danucci. But I mean, maybe I'm just kind of uh, wishing, you know what I'm saying, that we will see some positives, and we will see some positives. We just, but right, we want to see effort, on the line, on the defensive line and the offensive line for the most part, because we know that if they can just hold up and give that young man some time, we got some studs out wide. You know what I'm saying? We got some studs out wide that can really get it done. You know, but we even more than that, we need to get Zeke out of this slump that he's in. Every time the ball comes to him, it's either like last weekend you just saw. Even though the ball was thrown behind him, came off his hands for interception. We have seen the fumbles. You know, we saw the fumbles, and it was something that I was going to bring up, but it's kind of I just kind of forgot to bring it up. But just going back to the beginning of the season and stuff, and it's funny that Everson Griffin is gone and all of that is because he's like he's used to playing with his hands down on the ground and stuff like that. So now he's in Detroit. Hopefully, he gets that chance to play the style that he wants to play. More power to him. But definitely not a leader. Not a leader for these guys. I think that's just what it boils down to. So, but we just think about all the things that was talked about coming into the season. We had a lot of hype, a lot of praises. Then we talked. Then let's talk about the first two games, and it was too complicated. And you know what I'm saying? They dumbed it down. They simplified it to the simplest form, and we still not getting it done. So it's definitely on the players. It's definitely on the players. Not trusting one another. Not trusting your brother. He's going to be where he said he was going to be. It's not some guys just in the wrong position altogether. if they just been patient and let the play come to them and read the play right. So play recognition is definitely not a strong suit. Play recognition has never been a strong suit of the Cowboys team on the defensive side. Simple as that. We saw with Robert Quinn. Yeah, he had double-digit sacks, but against the run, he was horrible because it was attack, get upfield, attack the quarterback, and then while you're on your way to the quarterback, grab the hit the running back. I mean, come on, that's as simple as it can be. But when you're not attacking in a dual way, you're just going straight for the quarterback. Running back, he just runs right on by you. Delay. That's something we need to see too, since we do have a line and we know these guys are gonna be coming after the quarterback. What about delayed runs? What about some misdirection? You know what I'm saying? Some draw plays to get the hand get the ball in Zeke hands and stuff, or Pollard. And if Zeke keeps continuing doing this, I want to see more Pollard, because Pollard was getting some yards. He got some yards the time that he got in. Okay, I would definitely like to see some more Pollard. So you can reduce Zeke snaps, to be honest with you, if he don't get into the flow of things. It's nothing personal. But right now we need some productivity out of the run game. So me, I'm just kind of ranting right now. So I'm about to end this. It's 30 minutes and counting. So all I gotta say, guys, is stay tuned. Watch or don't watch the games. I like to watch to see who, just to evaluate our young talent. We know what places, and this is the reason why I say reconstructing, because we already know where our biggest holes need to be filled. Some would say safety, but I think that Darren Wilson just needs more time, because he's been sitting on the bench. He's not. This is the most playing time that he's had. Defense, the interior defensive line, and we'll see what these young guys are going to do. Our offensive line, and if these guys can gel and just hold tight, then they will be on the team next year, and that way we'll have some solid backups. You know what I'm saying? I like to see what the quarterback is going to do, because if Ben DiNucci does good, then we can get rid of Andy Dalton. To be honest with you, we wouldn't need a backup quarterback like Andy Dalton, because he's not mobile enough. All right, um, and I'm going to leave it like this. One college quarterback that I've been taking a look at is Tune. I think he plays for Houston. I like his zip. I like Tune. Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. So anybody else wants to check that out? See if you see what I see. Um, he got a nice arm, and maybe I'm just fooled, but to me it looked like he got some juice behind it. But that's what I'm looking at going forward. I don't know why, because I mean I ain't gonna say I know why. I know why I'm saying that is because I like to build a factory where you develop these backup quarterbacks, and you can trade them off. You know what I'm saying? Uh, or the DBs, linebackers. You know what I'm saying? And particularly DBs. You know, running back is another. Wide receiver is another spot where you can have a staple of players. I mean, and for real, um, Cedric Wilson and Noah Brown could be on that block. I mean, Cedric Wilson needs some more playing time, but I think we're gonna have to keep one of them at least. You know, so that's it, guys. This is Anthony Fallon, Tone Setter Sports Channel. Peace.